I still use my PlayStation Portal a lot. It's pretty much my most used handheld right now. In a market flooded with next-gen handhelds that boost insane specs, this seemingly simple streaming device has outlasted them all for the most part in my personal gaming setup. In this video, I'll be breaking down exactly why I love the PlayStation Portal and why it remains essential to my gaming routine, even in this top year of 2026. L double the gamer, y'all. Let's get into it. So as you all know, the PlayStation Portal came out in September of 2023, to a lot of hype, both good and bad. Of course, the ROG Xbox, well, it wasn't the Xbox Ally, the ROG Ally, the original, was released in like June of the same year. So if something as high tech as that dropping, I'm sure people were like, well, why the hell would I want this PlayStation Portal, which is basically just a streaming device? Now me, as soon as it was announced, and for the price point it was announced at $200, I was like, that's a buy. But for some people, not so much. And I kind of understand their skepticism. However, I just knew for people like me who would have a need to play a PS5 away from the television or gaming setup that it might be hooked up to, it would be fantastic. And I was right. The PlayStation Portal, when it came out, was kind of hard to get. People were scalping them, all kinds of stuff. And that only lasted for a few months, nothing like it was with the PS5. But that just kind of showed what its popularity was like when it first came out. And despite all the alternatives that were out when it came out, and since it's been out, the PlayStation Portal is still very popular. At the time, as I said, the ROG Ally was out. We have the Xbox Allies now. We have Lenovo Legion Go's. We got the Switch 2 finally dropped. All these things are still here. Yet the PlayStation Portal is still relevant, and still, I wouldn't call it a hot item, but it's still a point of intrigue for a lot of people, and it's better than ever, like I said. So for me, my core uses for this is a lot like some of my other handhelds, is sitting on the couch watching football on Sunday. That way I can still play PlayStation Portal, whatever game I'm playing right now, whether it be Sifu or Honkai Star Rail, which is something I'm always playing, or what I've been playing recently is Infinite Wealth. And I think I'm gonna get into 13 Sentinels eventually. I can play what I wanna play while I'm still watching football all day on a Sunday. Now, I will admit that possibly once football season is over, I won't use my PlayStation Portal quite as much, but there are still other instances in which I use it, where sometimes I actually play in bed when I'm in bed with my wife. Now, I gotta say, that's only sometimes, because usually if I'm in bed with my wife, you know, other things might be happening, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes I am playing when she's playing her little farm game or whatever on her phone. I might pull out my Portal and get a couple of rounds in of something, play a little Street Fighter or whatever, and then put it down and go to bed. So it's been a very excellent device for me. I've enjoyed my PlayStation Portal a whole lot, and I think you will too. So one of the features I think that cannot be overstated enough is the fact that it is basically a PlayStation controller with a screen on the inside. Now, I know some of you might be able to say, hey, I can just string them with my phone using something like a Backbone, or I can use my Portal, or I can use an Ally, or I can use a Legion Go, whatever you have to stream your PS5 to that device. However, there's something that's going to be missing, and is that native control and haptics that are built in to the PS5. So this has all the same haptics, all the same feedback, the same ergonomics and grip as a PS5 controller, just as everyone says, with a screen in the middle of it. So basically, it's a PlayStation 5 controller split in half with a screen in the middle. A lot of people said that, but it's an accurate description. But it cannot be overstated to say that again, how much nicer it is to use something like that in your hands as opposed to some other device that's meant to be more universal and not something that's specifically made to work with your PS5. And the screen is actually really nice as well. I know it's not OLED. Most people are going to want something that's OLED, but to keep the price down, I'm sure that's what it is. They included LCD, but even the LCD looks really nice. And again, rather than using one of those other devices who definitely probably have a smaller screen, your PlayStation Portal has a rather large screen on it to make your gaming nice and clear, as opposed to using a small phone or even one of those gaming handhelds with a PC handhelds with an admittedly smaller screen, most of them anyway. The battery life on it, it's okay. I mean, it is just streaming, so it's actually pretty long. I've never really timed it, but I would say I probably get about 4+ hours out of my PlayStation Portal, and it charges up pretty quickly too, so that's not bad at all. I usually can go from about 0 to almost full in about 2 hours of charging, maybe even a little less, depending on what kind of charger I use. However, I do have to admit that using the Portal is not all thick thighs and big booties, y'all, meaning it's not all good. If you don't have an internet connection, it's pretty much useless. It's a paperweight. And I think that is the biggest weakness of the PlayStation Portal. I understand there's nothing native because, again, I've said this before, PlayStation would have to make a whole new platform to run a whole new handheld. And I just don't think they're going to be willing to run multiple platforms. They did that with the Vita and the PlayStation 4. I don't think they're really going to do that again this time. But, you know, there's been some rumors of a new PlayStation handheld, so we'll see. And to go off that internet dependency, and pretty much all of its faults are focused around internet, you need to have the PlayStation Premium subscription to really get the full might of the PlayStation Portal. Now, that premium subscription, if you're able to get it back in like Black Friday, might have been able to get it on sale for like $100 for a year. That would probably be worth it. But going monthly when it's like $16, $17 a month, not so much. That's a harder sale. Maybe if you just wanted to actually pay just monthly because you only wanted to play maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 games and you figured you finished those in a month or two, then maybe then it would be worth it. But I don't know. Paying for it for a full year at that much almost doubles the price. And it's just not worth it to me at that point. And then the other thing with the internet is you pretty much need to be a network. Well, let's not go as far as saying you need to be a network engineer, but you need to learn and upgrade your skills on networking in order to get this to work correctly. But the one biggest thing you can do that is not a huge networking skill, but it is the biggest thing you can do is to plug the Ethernet cable directly into the PS5. You have to do this, even if you're using your actual ISP's crappy router. So for me, I actually went out and bought a brand new router for this. It wasn't super expensive. It was like $60 on Amazon, but it was a damn sight better than the one that came with my ISP. And with that, that also helped my network be a lot faster. Now I have very little lag, basically. And it works really well. So I would say probably get a new router if you don't have a good router. You have the one that your ISP came with is probably going to be a little bit limited, and definitely plug your PS5 directly into the Ethernet port. But these are just all things you have to do. Some people, they say their PlayStation Portal worked immediately and right out of the box, but mine just didn't. I definitely had to do some work to get it working again. Maybe not a whole lot, but I did have to do something. And one of the other things also, and I guess this is actually not around internet, is the accessory situation. So you can get some wireless earbuds or a wireless headset, but they cost as much as a Portal itself. And really they're proprietary devices that are only for PlayStation stuff. So you can't get it like a pair of Beats or any kind of AirPods or Bluetooth and hook it up to this and just get it to work. However, there is a wired plug, so you can plug some wired headphones into it. I've seen people use dongles plugged into the back with some Bluetooth ones, but it seems like they add a little latency, and I'm just not really willing to rig up my system to get some Bluetooth earbuds to work. It just seems like too much. So if you're still on a fence about buying a PlayStation Portal, maybe I can help sway you. So there's a couple of ways you can go about it. You can just buy one brand new off like Amazon or go to Best Buy or whatever. Try it out for a week or so, and if it doesn't work for you, just return it and get your money back. And that'd be a way for you to see if this is something that works for you. If you want something a little more permanent, maybe go a third-party route where you maybe go to Facebook Marketplace or any kind of those third-party apps like OfferUp. Buy one used for $100, $120, check it out. That way, if it's something you don't like, you don't wind up using that much, you're not really out of a lot of money. But I would say give it a try. You'd be surprised. That's why there's still a lot of people kind of wondering. The other thing I would say is definitely do your research. Look at a lot of videos, look up online to see if this is something that will work for you in your situation. Maybe have multiple kids or multiple accounts. There's some nuances to getting it working like that. And I definitely think you should look into that and learn for yourself whether or not this fits into your lifestyle and will it play well for you. The PlayStation Portal is not going to be for everyone, but it's going to be for a lot of people, which has surprised some people about the PlayStation Portal's longevity. Obviously, it would have longevity because it's basically an accessory that depends directly on the PS5. So much like asking about the longevity of a PS5 controller, it's going to be relevant as long as the PS5 is relevant, right? Same thing, this PlayStation Portal is going to be around and just going to get better while the PS5 is still around. Now, will they add any more features? I don't know. As you know, they've added all the features that we've asked for so far, except for the Bluetooth one I've asked for. But I don't know what else it could do to get better. You can put it down in the comments what you think, if anything it could do to get better, or what it's lacking, or what you'd be looking to do. I know some people wish it had like YouTube, so you can watch YouTube or any kind of streaming apps on it. I mean, I have a multitude of other devices to do that on. I just don't feel like that's a big wish for me, but some people might actually want that. So I would give the PlayStation Portal a big recommendation. Definitely go out and grab that if you haven't got one already. And maybe you're just watching this video, you already have a PlayStation Portal, and you do like me sometimes, you just watch videos about stuff you already have that kind of help reinforce your decision. I say definitely go for it. And if you already have one, good on you. I'm sure you find ways to enjoy it. As for how the PlayStation Portal translates to anything going forward, I know a lot of us are waiting for a new PlayStation handheld. I don't know if we'll ever get that. Like I said, it would be up to PlayStation to maintain yet another platform. Maybe they'll build it on the old PS4 platform. I don't really know. It'd be nice to get one. Not that we don't have enough handhelds going on right now, but it will still be pretty cool. Let me know if you would like a new PlayStation handheld down below. Maybe even what you thought of the PlayStation Vita. I might be getting that one next. But with that being said, y'all, this is a quick little video. I just wanted to tell you guys how much I love the PlayStation Portal and that I think it is better than ever and it's just going to get better. And with that being said, LW the Gamer, y'all, we out.